Hello, love. Sarah Sparks here. I was thinking, if there was one lesson in your life that you would want everyone to know, that you would want to share with everyone that you meet, no matter if it's the little kid at the pool, whether it's the cashier at Target, whether it is yourself, whether it is your significant others, your future partner, whether it be your children. If there was one lesson in your life that you would want everyone to know, what would that one lesson be? The one lesson that I would want everyone to know is don't change who you are just to have someone else love and accept you. It is your responsibility, not anyone else's, to love and accept yourself for the magnificent being that you were born into being. I want you to love yourself at the very core of who you are, at your soul. And I don't want you to change or feel like you have to change anything about you just so someone else can love and accept you. And why is this my number one lesson that I would want to share with everyone? So if you want to jot down that question and journal on it, think about it. What would be that number one thing in your life that you have learned that you would want everyone to know and that would truly make a different impact on someone else's life like it has on yours? And why is this my number one lesson in my own life? In the fall of 2000, not 2020. In the fall of 2020, I had just turned 18. It was my senior year of high school. And I was getting questions like I believe every senior was being asked then. I'm sure there's different questions now. Maybe it's even sooner, maybe when you're 15, 16. But when I was a senior, I was being asked such questions as, where do you want to go to school? What do you want to study? What do you want to be? Do you want to work? Where do you want to work? Do you want to stick around, the rural Iowa area? I grew up on a farm in Iowa. So I was like, do you want to stay in Iowa? Do you want to move away? Do you want to live in a different country? Do you want to work for private sector, public sector? Do you want to work for a nonprofit? And when these questions were asked to me when I was a senior, I had absolutely no idea. Like I was like, I think I want to go to University of Northern Iowa. I have no idea. I honestly didn't even declare a major until I had to. And so I just didn't know. I did not know all the answers to the questions that people were asking me. I felt really overwhelmed. I feel like that is how a lot of us, even now, as we're moving through life, are maybe feeling like, what do you want to do with your life? How do you want it? Do you want a partner? And I was being asked questions by random people that I really didn't want to answer to. And it was such questions as, do you want a boyfriend? Do you want to have a husband? Do you want children? Like, where do you want to live? All these things. When I was a senior in high school, I just felt like I just was really overwhelmed. And so I was raised Catholic, and it's not necessarily practiced that I, turn to God for everything. It was more like pray for those who, at least my interpretation of having conversations with God when I was growing up was like, hey, pray for those who are really in need. Pray for when you're really sick, but not just like, hey, you're kind of lost in life. Why don't you just ask? And then I was like, is God going to answer my prayers? I don't know. I mean, I'm really not dying. I'm not in a war somewhere. So I don't know. Am I worthy enough of having God answer my prayers? So one night, it was my senior year, and I have a cold, so pardon me for coughing and taking breaks. But I wanted to hop on here and share this story. And so that night, one night, but before going to bed, I prayed. And I was like, God, if you just want to tell me what I'm supposed to do with my life, that would be totally stellar. Because I don't really even know how this prayer is supposed to go. or what I'm supposed to do with this, but kind of need some guidance, need some direction, and that'd be really cool. So thanks, amen. And I went to sleep. Right before I was going to wake up for the day, before my alarm was about ready to go off to go to school, I was having this dream. And I was walking along this beach. The sun was setting to my right. There was a big body of water to the right of me. The sand was like white with shells, and they were crunching underneath my feet, and they were like hurting the bottom of my feet while I was walking. Then I heard seagulls flying over. I mean, this dream was so vivid. It was like I was in it. And everything about this dream felt like I was home. The moisture, the humidity on my face as I was walking was feeling like home. There was a man in this dream walking about 12 feet in front of me, 6 feet tall, broad shoulders. I'm 5'9", and he was about 6 feet tall with like dark hair, tan neck. And I remember saying to God in the dream, thanks God, you did pretty good here. Because I was thinking, yes, a man that is taller than me in this dream, score. I remember it in my dream. It was so much fun. And so it was just this water. The water was like a teal blue, kind of like even like some grays. There was color. The sun, I mean, just everything felt like home. This man felt like home. The sea felt like home. The sky, the sun, I mean, it just, everything was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I really didn't know how exactly this, or what exactly this meant. And so I woke up from my alarm to this dream. And I had this dream every week for an entire year. The same dream played out. I never saw the man's face. I walked up to the man once in this dream and touched his shoulder. I woke up from that dream knowing that that was the answer to my prayer. Now, the following thoughts were like, I can't tell anyone of this dream. If this is truly the answer to my prayer of what I'm supposed to do with the rest of my life, that would mean that I would be living somewhere near water, near a beach, and I'm going to meet this man from my dream on a beach. If I were to tell somebody that that's my life plan, they're going to think I'm crazy. So I'm not going to tell anybody. I told a few friends. I remember telling my good friend Laura, and I remember telling a good friend Rachel while we were going to and from a church camp, like a summer church camp we went to together. I would look for an entire, like, until the dream actually came true. I looked for this man from my dream everywhere. And I just kept thinking, he has to exist. This life on this beach, in that moment, and how I felt at home has to exist. I just don't know how. It seems too far-fetched. I mean, I think I would be crazy to actually believe that I was going to meet a man on a beach. Oh my God, like what? Something inside me just knew that I would never feel at home until I was there. And so I continued on my senior year. Every boy, man that I met, like walking down the hallway of my school, which was like really small school, I would be like, is that the guy from the dream? Nope, I'm not on a beach. Remember, Sarah, you're on a beach. And middle of Iowa is not on a beach. I did not meet this man in the middle of a cornfield somewhere. And so I continued. I went on to college. Right before I went off to college, I met a wonderful man, and he liked me, and we dated all throughout college. We ended up getting married. We were married for 5 years. I knew that he was not the man from the dream. Once I met my now ex-husband, the dream stopped, my vision stopped, my connection with divine stopped. I would have like little glimmers of like, you need to go here, you shouldn't go there. But I wouldn't have the vivid visions and guidance that I had. It's kind of like I turned that part of me off. I thought that I couldn't actually be that beachy, free-spirited, fun gal who listened to divine guidance. I thought that that part of me needed to be turned off. I remember after I graduated college and looking for a job, I started wearing all black clothes because I thought that's what adults do when they get jobs, is wear all black clothes. I even remember after I quit my job and started my own way in life and trying to figure me out. And I was working for a gal named Jess, and she was an author coach, and she had decorated her whole house in purple and like splashes of purple, and she would wear purple. And I said to her, I was like, wait a second, you're an adult and wearing purple. Is that even allowed? I thought all adults needed to wear like black and be really serious about things. And she's like, Sarah, why do you have this belief? And I'm like, I don't know, but I do. And no, I do not smoke. I have a cold, so I'm sorry for the raspy voice and the coughing. So, excuse me. So to carry on with my number one lesson in my life and this dream that I had, fast forward 10 years, I have curtailed everything about me. I have changed everything about me. I even went to get my master's because the city administrator that I was working under at the time, he recommended that if I wanted to be an HR professional, an HR director in local government, that I need to get my master's. I never checked in with my soul to see if that was really what I wanted, but I'm also not a quitter. So once I started my master's, I was going to finish it through to the end with success, and I did. So I ended up having my bachelor's in human resources, a training, design, and development certificate. I went on to get my master's in public administration. And throughout all of that, I just kept curtailing myself more and more, contortioning myself into someone that I wasn't. I even remember cutting my hair super short because I thought if I really wanted to make it in local government, I looked around at the table that I sat at. And I was a woman who barely took up space, crossed her legs, crossed her arms, sat kind of hunched, had longer hair, talked really with excitement. And I looked around that table, and I was the only woman sitting at that table, a table full of men. And I thought, I'm the height of any man. And I started looking at all the men at this table. They were all taking up space. Their legs were wider than shoulder width apart. Their arms were shoulder width apart. And I thought to myself, I'm going to start taking up space. I have a seat at this table right now. I was on the safety committee for the city of Clinton. Not a big role, but I wanted to make an impact, and I wanted to be someone different. I knew that there was something more in me. I knew that there was something extraordinary in me that needed to come out. But I thought I had to change who I was just to be accepted and loved by everybody else. So therefore, I changed the way I looked, meaning my clothing, the way I stood, the way I sat at the table, the way that I cut my hair. I cut it super short. Oh yeah, you want to see those? I could post them online for you. But the thing is every time I did that, I walked further and further away from who I truly was. I walked further and further away from my soul. I kept shoving her down and down and down and down. So the number one lesson, I'm going to repeat it again, and I want you to think about it too. The number one lesson that I want everyone to know, and I want to continue sharing over and over and over and over. No matter if it is the little boy at the pool, no matter if it is to my children, to my spouse, no matter who it is, I want everyone to know that you do not have to change who you are just for somebody else to love and accept you. So continuing on with my story, because maybe you're wondering, did that dream of yours ever come true, Sarah? It eventually does. And so 10 years of putting myself into a box, contortioning myself into someone who I was not. I drove myself to a deep, dark depression where I wanted to end my own life. I planned my own death until a young woman at the age of 16 came into my world three different times in 1 week. And I have known for quite some time that if things happen in threes, I need to pay attention to them. And so this young woman named Hannah came into my world three different times in that 1 week. And something about her triggered who I was when I was 18. Who I was when I was praying to God. What am I supposed to do with my life? That dream started coming back. But I thought I had dug myself too far into the hole to ever come back to that dream. Until I read about her in the paper. And that was my fourth interaction with her. And it was my final interaction because she had committed suicide 3 days prior. I had run into her that week prior on a Monday, a Wednesday, and then a Sunday. On a Wednesday the following week, the DeWitt Observer came out, and I was reading about her obituary in the paper. And I was planning to end my own life a week later than she had already ended hers. And that is when I was reading her obituary, that I heard that voice of God that I hadn't heard in a really long time say to me, Sarah, when I asked, why not me? Why her? I heard Spirit say, who now I call Spirit God, all one and the same. I heard Spirit say, Sarah, you are meant for more. And right then I realized that if something outside of myself could possibly understand that I was meant for more, and that I was supposed to be sharing this message, that you do not have to change anything about yourself, just so someone else outside of yourself could love and accept yourself, can love and accept you. And that someone within me, around me, and through me believed in me, that I was meant for more, that maybe possibly I truly was. I did not know to the extent of what meant for more meant at all. I didn't understand it. I didn't have a divine guidance. I didn't have a me. I didn't have my steps to listen to divine guidance. I didn't have my courses. I didn't have a therapist. I didn't have any sort of guide or support telling me what to do next, Sarah. I was just determined to figure it out. That if God believed that that I was meant for more, that I was. And so I did not end up ending my life. But what I realized while staring at Hannah's obituary, that I was dead inside. And that I was willing to die, and I was willing to let that dream of that man on the beach, of the life that I was truly needing to live, I was willing to let that die. But what I really needed to let die was the person that I had become. I had to let go of, and this is not an easy process, and it is super freaking scary. I had to let go of who they thought I was supposed to be. I'm going to repeat that. I had to let go of who they thought I needed to be. Do you? Where are you at? Do you need to let go of who you think that someone else thinks you are supposed to be? Who are you? When people come to me, there's 3 questions that they are usually asking. Who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose? All 3 of those questions lead to why your soul came into your body during this lifetime. I didn't have a me. I do now. I now know that my soul came into the meant for more part. I know that my soul was sent was sent into my body by God. It was an angel when it came into this body to teach people to lead with their soul, all while listening to their own divine guidance, knowing and doing and being the soul to the magnificent being, as the magnificent being that they were born to be. I now know that, but I didn't know that. It took me years. I don't want you to take years like it did me. That's why I'm here, to make your journey shorter, more effective, more efficient. And you see, when I decided not to end my life that day, I decided to truly live. I had to figure out what truly living actually meant. And so I had to take one step at a time. What's next, God? What's next? For me, that meant switching careers. For me, that meant finishing up my master's. For me, that meant leaving my ex-husband. For me, that meant leaving my home, the house that I called a home. For you, it may look different. But for me, it meant a whole lot of change in my life. And so my friend, my good friend from college says to me, we ran a half marathon out in Des Moines, Iowa. It was called Dam to Dam. And we ran it, and I complained the entire time about my work, about my husband at the time. I complained the entire time I ran. She listened, and she finally says to me at the end of it, Sarah, you've turned into a bitch. I just need to be straight up with you. You're not who you used to be. I don't know who this woman is. We need to go on vacation together. I was like, all right, we'll go on vacation together. So we went on vacation, and my husband at the time decided that he couldn't go on vacation with me because he had work. And so I was like, all right, we'll go, just my friend and I. Her husband at the time didn't want to go either, so it turned into a girls' trip. I called my ex-husband. It was my ex-husband now, but I called him at the airport. And at the airport is when I decided I am done. Based on the conversation we had, I decided I am done. It was the last straw. It was the straw that broke the camel's back, if you will. And I was like, wow, I am done. Have you ever heard the phrase, decide on a matter and it will be established for you? That is what happened in the next couple of days. Without knowing, I took that leap, got on that plane, literally took off with my life, and I went on this journey. Went to Florida. While we were in Florida, for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, each of those days we were told to go to Mulligan's. It was a beach bar restaurant where people played music. Very, very typical for the Tampa, St. Pete area, that type of place. We were told to go there 3 times. And again, when I'm told something 3 times or something happens in 3s, I pay attention. So on Sunday, after being told to go to Mulligan's for the 3rd time, we go. We go. After we go to dinner, my friend and I get into a cab ride, pay $8 to go in this cab, to go to this beach bar place called Mulligan's. Did you know that Mulligan's means do-over? Second chance. God has a funny way, huh? So we go. Everyone's leaving. The band is packing up. This jammin', rockin' place that we're supposed to go to. There is one group up at the bar, pretty well on their way to Drunkville, if not already there. There was another small little group at another round table, from Iowa, and then my friend and I. And I'm like, I just laugh at this because I'm like, oh God, it's such a sense of humor. So we're at Mulligan's. This group that was up at the bar, one woman comes over and decides to hump my face. Basically grind up on my face, and I'm sitting there not knowing her, feeling very awkward, and I'm like, oh my God. And she is very drunk. God bless her now, I don't even know her name. And this man comes up. This was our meet cute. And this man comes up from across the bar and is like, I am so sorry. Like, we've been drinking all day. It's my buddy's birthday. It was July 5th of 2009. And so he's like, I'm so sorry. Let me buy you a drink. I know that was really uncomfortable for you. I was like, yeah, no problem. So this guy buys my friend and I a drink. He's like, do you mind if I sit down? He sits down. We begin talking. He tells me his name. And I'm like, all right. I should actually back it up just a bit. Before the gal came over and did her thing and dance and all the stuff, I have to go to the bathroom. So I get up and walk past, and I walk past this man who hasn't bought us a drink yet. And I walk past this man, cargo shorts, t-shirt, baseball cap, glasses, like flip-flops. Something in me, like I walked past him and it was like something like pulled. It was like there was this energy and it just like went like this. And I was like, wow, what was that? As at this time in 2009, I was not spiritual, feeling everything, Sarah. I was not at all the spiritual person I am today. I was not connected. I was not awake. So like when that sort of thing happened, I was just like, oh, what's that? Come back from the bathroom. The whole incident with the woman happens. The man walks over, buys us a drink, sits down, we chat. He's like, hey, I need to go to the bathroom, but after we're done, since this place is basically dead, would you like me to give you a rape-free drive back to your hotel? And his other friend was sitting there, and I was like, is he serious? Like, like a rape-free drive? and his friend's like, yeah, that's how he rolls. He's just, nerdy like that. And I'm like, all right. So the guy goes and goes to the bathroom, comes back. He gives my friend and I and the friend, all the, like us four, we get in the pickup truck, and in my head, I'm like, score. I just saved an $8 cab ride. Friends, do not get in a car with strangers. And I'm going to tell that to my daughters now. Goodness. So I got in the car with the stranger, but I knew, I was like, I don't want this stranger to know where we're staying. So he drops us off a few hotels up the beach. If you're still listening to the story, you're pretty stellar. And so he drops us off, and we go to Swigwam to get a drink. And then we're standing there ordering our beverages. My friend and his friend are kind of just off to the side chatting. And this guy and I are standing there, and I touch his arm, like with my arm. We're just standing that close. And I'm like, huh, he feels really familiar. Like I know him. How do I know him? Like, God, he feels like home. Oh, that's weird. Like, all right, stop. This is weird. I'm crazy. Okay, whatever. He's like, hey, do you want to go for a walk on the beach back to your hotel? I mean, he's like, you don't have to tell me. We could just walk that way. I know it's further down. And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I tell my friend. He tells his friend. We all start walking. I'm sipping on my beverage, walking along, and I drop my cup and I spill my beverage. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't want the seagulls to get this plastic cup or the, dolphins or anything else. And so I drop my cup, I pick it up, and I turn around. He didn't stop to help pick up the cup. He is now 12 feet in front of me. Water, big body of water. It's called the Gulf of Mexico. Big body of water to my right. Sun is setting. Seagulls crunching. 6 feet tall, broad shoulders, dark hair, tan neck. And that, my friends, is the moment that I'm like, oh my God, I am in my dream that I had when I was 18. Now I'm 28. It had happened 10 years ago. I completely forgot about the dream at this point because I had married someone else. I am still married to that someone else. It was only 2 days ago that I decided that I'm done with this relationship. Again, decide on a matter and it will be established for you. And so I'm standing there with my empty cup, my eyeballs were like huge. And this man now 12 feet in front of me turns around. It is Mr. Craig Sparks. My husband that I am married to now is the man from my dream. And I wanted him to be on here too and sharing, and he was like, do I have to really be on here, Sarah? And I was like, no, it's fine. I can just share the story. And I said, is there anything that you want to share? And he's like, oh, I remember that moment. And he's so funny. He was like, what'd I do? Did I fart? Why are you looking at me so weird? And I'm like, I am not telling this man that I just met that we are star-crossed lovers, that he is the man from my dreams and I'm supposed to be with this man. No way. Oh my God. So ladies, gents, if you ever have this experience, do not tell somebody that they're the man or woman from your dream, that they're the person from your dream. I did not. I waited several months until we got to know each other better. And so I'm really hoping that this call does not screw up my Facebook Live. There we go. Excuse me, it was a spam call, was trying to get through. And so we end up talking till 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, hey, can I have your phone number? And more that we got to know each other, and the more that, like, after I figured out my life, I was like, listen, like, I'm still married. I'll be going through a divorce. I hated myself. Like, I'm still have the negative thoughts in my head about wanting to end my own life. I know I'm meant for more. I know I have a connection with God, source, creator, spirit. I don't even know what to call. I don't know anything, and he's like, listen, you figure out your life. Craig says to me on that beach that night, he's like, hey, listen, you figure out your life. If we're supposed to see each other again, we will. You do you, and we'll come back together. We did. After things, started settling and I started figuring things out on my own, we started meeting more. And every single time I go to get dressed, or we go on a date now, and or I'm a mama now, and he's daddy to our two souls that came to us. Yep, that's how I roll. I have souls that come to me, and I have them have them as children. I birthed them, and they name themselves, all the fun things. And so as every time I go to change or to step into more and more of who I am, Craig is this amazing support, and he's always encouraging me to be a better me, to step out of my box, to let my light shine. And so I appreciate that so much, because he reminds me that I am completely accepted just as I am. And so I want you to know that you are completely accepted just as you are. You don't need someone else outside of yourself to accept you. That the major change that happened within me and for my business, when my business really started to grow, was when I decided to be all in on life, allow myself to love and accept my soul. And now moving forward, I lead with my soul. I allow my soul to tell me how my business is supposed to be run, compensation plans, marketing plans, financial plans, accounting. I let my soul lead on weight loss, on what is the body that you want to be housed in. I asked my soul that. Soul, what do you want the day to look like? What vacations do you want to go on? Who do you want to work with? I allow my soul to lead. I truly am dedicated to allowing my soul to have the experiences and to experience the life that my soul came here to experience. So ask yourself, where am I along this journey? Do I need a spiritual guide to help me answer, who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose? Or are you at the stage that you need to give yourself permission that you do not have to change for anyone or anything? That you can love and accept yourself just as you are. And I'll leave you with this. Know that you are meant for more. Find out what that meant for more means to you. Understand why your soul came to this earth, into this body during this lifetime. You will not regret it. Cheers, love. We'll talk to you soon.